Level Up Protocol. I am Trilla D. Welcome to my channel. I live stream every Sunday, give or take, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Come on, tap in. Let's talk about what's going on. Drop me a tip if you guys feel as inclined to, and like and subscribe to my channel. This is 7 months weed-free minus a little slip I had. I had this debate with a few people if I should continue my sober counting days, I guess you could say. Even though I had a little slip, I will say that that video is named I Relapse, which I realize is a little bit wrong phrase because a relapse would have meant I went back to smoking permanently, but it was more of a lapse, and I just did it for a few days and I just wasn't really feeling it at all. So now I'm right back to sober life where I plan to stay for good, to be honest. A lapse is different than a relapse because I'm still on the path for one, and I'm still feeling all the benefits that I had from the whole point in time, and it's still kind of going good, I guess you could say, and it's going smooth. A lot of people were asking, why did I lapse and this and that, especially my friends, like why? To be honest, I just kind of knew where I was at sober, and I wanted to, I guess you could say, see where I would be high again and kind of really compare the two, because it's been so long I almost forgot what it felt like to be stoned. And that weekend just showed me so much. It really just showed me that, like, that ain't it. You know what I mean? For me personally, someone who's trying to be in great physical shape, be in great mental shape and financial shape, launch a business, launch multiple businesses and manage multiple businesses and build and grow these businesses, you know, go out and meet people, be social, build connections with people. Being high ain't it. You know what I mean? And now that I really think of it, the people who I know who are really heavy smokers, they're usually not doing the things that I just mentioned. So you should really consider it yourself and actually look at step outside the room to see what's really going in. Quit for 30 days. Just call it a tolerance break. At the end of the day, you'll end up smoking less weed, you'll save money, you'll get more high off the little weed you smoke. Try it for 30 days. Step out the room and look back in after 30 days and see how you feel. You might feel so much better. You might be like, wow, you know what? This guy was right. I really was hindering myself smoking weed all the time. Or maybe you'll say, you know what? I don't feel good. I'm not any more productive. I'm going to go back. But unless you try, you'll never know. So I will say now, 7 months on the sober journey, a few benefits that I'm seeing at this point is it's a lot easier to get out of my comfort zone. Like, I felt that smoking just made me so comfortable being in the same position I was in yesterday, last week, last month, last year. I felt no problem with being in the exact same position I was in earlier. And it made me so comfortable just not getting things done and not progressing and leveling up in life. And when I quit for the first month or so, I was just a lot of agitation and frustration and boredom until I really self-reflected and realized, okay, I have to progress now. That's going to be the only way I feel satisfaction and joy in my life is if I progress. You know what I mean? If I keep on advancing and leveling up in life. My confidence still has gone way up. My confidence has gone, I've always had a ton of confidence when I was younger. And the more potent that the weed got and the more that I smoked, my confidence was just getting put more into a box, more and more, until the point that it was literally just concealed, I guess you could say. But since I've stopped and now I'm 7 months sober, it's through the roof. I can talk to anyone. I actually make it a point to leave my house and talk to strangers pretty much every day, whether it's women, men, old people, kids, whatever. The other day I was in Tim Hortons and there was a bunch of high school kids there. There was 4 of them, young kids, probably 14 or 15, I don't know. And I was like, hey, you guys mind if I go in front of the lineup with you? It was a test, right? And they looked at me like, what is happening? What's going on right now? And they're like, okay. So I went in front of them, and I'm like, can I get my double dark roast from Tim Hortons, which is a delicious coffee? And I turned around and I'm like, and these 4, whatever they want to, add it to my order. And they looked at me like, what the hell? And I was like, hey, you guys can get whatever you want. Get coffee, get donuts, get sandwiches, get whatever you want, and I'll pay for it. They actually didn't get that much. They just got a drink each. But I mean, did they need the money from me? Probably not. I'm sure they have their own or their parents give them money to spend or whatever. But just this little act of interacting with some complete strangers, doing a nice act, had my day on such a positive boost. You know what I mean? And maybe I had some slight karma return to me because good things started happening after that. But something like this, I would never have done if I was high. And I really don't think anyone who's high would do something like this, right? So this is a small example of how being sober has just raised my confidence levels and really pulling me out of my comfort zone in all aspects of life. So my self-discipline, when I originally quit, it skyrocketed. It was literally on Super Saiyan levels of self-discipline. which there was a lot of benefits that as soon as I quit, you'll kind of have a spike of these benefits. You know what I mean? Because you're just so happy and inspired and proud of yourself for what you did that a lot of these things will spike. And I will say after about the 6-month point, they'll kind of start to taper off and you will have to adapt and have to just learn how to go through life sober, basically, which is a very interesting thing that I noticed. And a lot of people talk about this in the comment section, how, oh, people quit and start, feeling like they're just so much better than everyone else and all these things. And are these benefits real or is it just in your mind? And I will say they are real and they're a lot more exaggerated in the first points of quitting as opposed to down the line when things start to normalize a little bit more. And speaking of normalize, I will say things like listening to music, watching movies, enjoying delicious food. I'm able to properly enjoy it now equally to how I did when I was high. Movies and music especially, I really couldn't zone into them and enjoy them and dissect it mentally as I was taking it in unless I was high. But after 6-7 months now, I'm at the point now where I can enjoy these things again. And I've learned to enjoy them sober. And it's such a relief because it's almost like you're a slave to the weed. You have to get the weed's permission to have fun or feel good or watch a movie or eat food, play video games or whatever. But now I'm at the point where sober, I can enjoy it. And it's a great feeling because the power is within. It's no longer in the weed. My lungs are fully healed at this point. My endurance is crazy. I can literally run ball with teenagers and probably outrun them, to be honest. So I will say, since I stopped smoking, smoking in general is not going to help your lungs. Carcinogens do not help your lungs. There is more tar in smoking a joint of weed than there is in an actual cigarette, and you can look it up. Not to mention if you're rolling it with tobacco, graba, fronto, in a backwood. A backwood wrap has 3 times the amount of nicotine as one cigarette. So if you're smoking weed in backwoods, you're pretty much just cooking your brain and your body and your lungs all in one. And I would not suggest that for anyone. If you're going to smoke, put the blunts down. So my creativity is coming back. My creativity was kind of harder to channel and get to, I would say, for the first while. But after the 7-month point now, my creativity, it's really flowing. It's really flowing. I'm able to tap it in just like that. All I have to do is put the effort and sit down, whether it's making episodes for my podcast or business ideas on how to grow my business or just being creative in general. I can sit down and really tap into these ideas in my brain simply. And that's about it for this one. It's just giving you guys an update. I'm showing you guys that there's light at the end of the tunnel and you can stick with it. Sure, you may slip here and there, but stick with it as long as you don't relapse and go back to the way you were. You know what I mean? And all you people who think you're enjoying it and you don't need to quit, like I said earlier, I challenge you to go 30 days without it. If you can't make it through the 30 days without it, that'll show you in yourself that it's an addiction that you need to stop. And if you don't feel better at the end of the 30 days, well, then by all means, go back to smoking. But at least try, at least challenge yourself and give yourself some type of moving out of your comfort zone and going through something unpleasant to get the challenge at the end of the road, because that's all what leveling up is about. It's not a pretty process. It's not a fun process. It's not a happy-go-lucky process. You're in the trenches most of the time, going through it, refining yourself. So at the end of the road, you come out a better person. And believe me when I tell you guys, it's worth it. The benefits long-term of stopping smoking after a very long time of smoking have been significant, to say the least, in my life. And that's it for this one. I am Trilla D. All of you guys out there, don't stop leveling up and be your best self. And that's it for this one.